The fires of Mustafar still burned when the med droids pulled Padme from the blackened sand. Her pulse was faint, her breath shallow, but she lived. The moment her eyes opened, she asked for Anakin. The silence that followed told her everything. On Coruscant, the news spread that Lord Vader had fallen. The Jedi were gone. The Republic, her Republic, was dead. In her recovery chamber, Padme replayed his words again and again. "You turned her against me." His voice echoed like a wound that never closed. Days passed, but her grief only grew heavier. The light that once defined her faltered under the weight of betrayal. Then came the whisper, faint, cold, familiar. Darth Sidious. He saw what others could not, a spark of fury hidden beneath her sorrow. He came to her in secret, offering answers and control. He was powerful because he embraces pain, he told her. You could be greater. Padme refused at first, but when she saw the Empire rise from democracy's ashes, she began to question everything she once believed in. She returned to Naboo. There, beneath the quiet lakes and moonlight, she mourned alone, yet peace would not come. Every night, she dreamed of fire. Every morning, she woke with the same thought. The galaxy deserved better than this. Her tears dried. Her compassion hardened. The woman who once fought for freedom began to crave order, balance, justice on her terms. And when a red blade ignited before her for the first time, it was not with hesitation, but with purpose. Padmé Amidala was gone. Only something darker remained. Padme stood in the shadows of Naboo's royal palace, her reflection flickering in the marble floor. The woman staring back at her was not the senator the galaxy once adored. Her eyes were sharper now, colder. The grief had burned away, leaving only purpose. Sidious's visits grew more frequent. He fed her anger carefully, like fuel to a dying flame. "The Jedi failed you," he whispered. "The Republic failed you. Even Skywalker failed you. But the Force never will." Padme resisted at first. But every memory of Anakin, his lies, his rage, his betrayal, made her see truth in Sidious's words. When she finally reached out through the Force, it answered, not with light, but with power. Her training began in secret. Beneath these catacombs, she learned to bend energy, to turn emotion into weapon. Her rage gave her focus. Her sorrow gave her strength. And in that darkness, she no longer felt fear, only clarity. Across the stars, Vader felt her presence, a whisper of what he thought he had destroyed. Confusion became obsession. He searched every report, every rumor. Could she still be alive? Their connection to the Force deepened again, but now it was reversed. Padme was a hunter. She sensed his guilt, his torment, his weakness, and she would use it. One night, beneath the crimson glow of her first lightsaber, she whispered to herself, "Love made me blind. Now it makes me unstoppable." The Force pulsed around her, alive and deadly. Somewhere in the void, Vader turned sharply, his breath catching beneath his mask. He felt it too. Padmé Amidala had returned, reborn in shadow. The throne room was silent, bathed in the glow of Coruscant's crimson skyline. Sidious stood before her, cloaked in darkness, watching as Padmé knelt. Her eyes were calm, too calm. He sensed no hesitation, no mercy, only power waiting to be claimed. "Rise," he commanded. "Rise, Darth Vader." The name echoed through the chamber like a prophecy. In that moment, the galaxy shifted. Padmé Amidala, the voice of peace, was reborn as a Sith. Sidious smiled, but behind his grin lay unease. She learned too quickly. Her connection to the Force grew faster than his design allowed. Her presence became a storm, cold, precise, unstoppable. Within weeks, she dismantled imperial corruption, executing officers who failed the throne. The people whispered her name in fear and secret admiration. She spoke not of tyranny, but of balance, an order cleansed by fire. Sidious watched her rise with fascination and caution. He saw in her what Anakin could never become, discipline bound by pain. Yet he also sensed danger. Padmé's anger was not for him. It was for the world that broke her, for the man she once loved, for the Empire itself. When she stood beside the Emperor on the balcony, She spoke softly. "The galaxy does not need fear. My master, it needs control." Sidious's grin faltered for the first time. That night, alone in his chamber, he reached out through the Force, searching for Anakin's broken spirit across the void. If Vader still lived, Sidious would need him again, because Darth Vader was no apprentice. She was a threat. Under her command, the Empire transformed. Corruption vanished. Systems once drowned in greed now ran with perfect, merciless order. Imperial governors trembled when Darth Vader's fleet arrived. Worlds that resisted were brought to heel not through destruction, but through control. Her rule was not like Sidious's. She did not crave worship. She demanded obedience. The Senate became a relic of her will, her voice echoing through the chambers where she once stood for democracy. "Peace," she declared, "is not found in freedom. It is built on discipline." The people feared her, yet some began to believe in her vision. The galaxy, for the first time since the Clone Wars, knew stability. But beneath that calm, the darkness whispered. The Jedi survivors began to move in secret, sensing a power unlike any Sith before. Sidious watched from his throne, calculating. His plan had turned against him. The apprentice had become the master in all but name. He reached through the Force to test her loyalty and felt her wall of steel. She no longer sought guidance. She sought destiny. Across the void, deep within the wreckage of the Outer Rim, a familiar breath echoed through metal lungs. Vader lived, scarred, alone. The name Padmé lingered in his thoughts, a wound that would not close. And when her shadow reached his sector, he knew she was alive, changed, dangerous. He clenched his fist, feeling the air tremble around him. "Padmé, what have you become?" The stars outside his ship burned red, as if the galaxy itself awaited their reunion. A storm was coming, one born of love, betrayal, and vengeance. For years, Vader believed she had died by his hand. Her name was a scar, her memory a ghost he could never silence. But when whispers reached him of a dark empress wielding red light and iron command, his world cracked open once more. The Emperor's apprentice was no rumor. It was her, Padmé Amidala, alive, twisted by the same darkness that consumed him. Vader's rage boiled, not at her, but at Sidious. The old monster had stolen everything from them both. He had turned their love into weapons, their pain into his empire. No more. He left his fortress on Mustafar, his ship cutting through the void toward Coruscant. As he traveled, memories flooded him. Her laughter, her faith, her final breath. Beneath the mask, Anakin Skywalker stirred again. When he arrived, the city trembled. Imperial fleets prepared for inspection, unaware that two had now hunted the same prey, each other. Vader felt his presence through the Force before he even landed. The air grew heavy with destiny. Sidious waited in his throne room, smiling. "Ah, Lord Vader, come to meet your replacement." Vader's answer was silence. Then the snap hiss of his crimson blade. The Emperor laughed, lightning flickering in his hands. "You cannot save her, my apprentice. She is already mine." But deep within the palace, Padmé, Darth Vader, heard the clash of blades. She froze. The sound was familiar, painful. For the first time in years, she whispered his name. "Anakin." The storm outside erupted, lightning streaking across the Coruscant sky. Two destinies, once united by love, now collided in darkness. Only one would walk away unchanged. Coruscant burned. The Emperor's citadel lay in ruins, lightning tearing through black clouds. Above, within the broken throne room, two figures stood facing one another, shadows of what they once were. Vader's breathing echoed, slow and mechanical. Across from him, Vader's crimson blade hummed to life, casting red light across her face. For a heartbeat, there was silence. Then she spoke. "You should have let me die." Vader took a step forward. "I tried to save you. You destroyed me," she hissed. "And now, I'll finish what Mustafar began." Their blades collided, a storm of light and sound. Sparks rained across shattered marble. She fought with precision and fury. Every strike a memory of love turned to rage. Vader countered, heavy and relentless, yet his heart faltered with every blow. "You don't have to do this," he pleaded. "Padmé, that name is dead," she screamed, hurling him backward with the Force. Statues shattered as Vader crashed against the wall. She advanced, her saber raised high. But then she hesitated. Beneath the mask, she felt it, his pain, his regret. For the first time, his voice trembled. "I never stopped loving you." The words struck deeper than any blade. Her anger wavered, the Force within her spiraling between hate and heartbreak. But the moment shattered as Sidious's laughter echoed from the shadows above. The Emperor lived, burned but unbroken. Lightning arced from his fingers, engulfing them both in light. "Fools," he sneered. "If I cannot rule the galaxy, neither shall you." As fire consumed the throne room, Padmé and Anakin reached for each other through the flames. Their hands almost touched, before everything went white. The storm that tore across Coruscant left the Imperial city in ruins. The Emperor's citadel was nothing but shattered glass and burning metal. And in its center stood Padmé, alive, scarred, and silent. Sidious's body lay lifeless at her feet, his robe still smoking from the Force lightning that had consumed him. Across the room, Vader struggled to rise, his armor cracked, his breathing shallow. The lightning had nearly destroyed them both. Padmé looked at him, eyes hollow. "You destroyed everything we could have been," she whispered. "And you became everything I tried to escape," he rasped. For a moment, neither moved. The flames roared around them, drowning out the screams of dying soldiers. Then, as Vader collapsed, she turned away. The woman who once loved him was gone. The Sith within her had no use for weakness. In the weeks that followed, power shifted across the galaxy. Darth Vader claimed the Imperial throne, but she did not rebuild Sidious's empire. She remade it. Governors who once ruled with fear now bowed to her vision of order. Dissenters vanished overnight. The galaxy whispered her name with terror and awe to the public. She spoke of peace. To her enemies, she delivered annihilation. Her fleets burned traitor worlds to ash, erasing rebellion before it began. "Hope," she declared in a galaxy-wide broadcast, "is a lie the weak tell themselves to hide from truth." Yet, behind the mask of control, something still lingered. A memory, a face, a love that refused to die. In the shadows of Mustafar, deep within a ruined fortress, a single mechanical breath echoed. Vader lived, and this time, he would not rise for the Emperor. He would rise for her. The Empire was hers. From the burning skyline of Coruscant to the farthest outer rim, one voice now commanded the stars. Darth Vader, the Empress of the New Order, sat upon the black throne once claimed by Sidious. But unlike her former master, she ruled not through madness but through method. Factories thrummed day and night. Worlds long ignored by the Empire flourished under strict order. Crime vanished. Hunger ended. Yet freedom was a ghost, hunted, erased, forgotten. The Empress promised peace, and the galaxy obeyed. She rebuilt the Imperial Guard, loyal only to her will. Their armor shone black and crimson, the colors of her fury. Holograms of her speeches filled the holonet. The galaxy will not fall. To chaos again, she declared. Unity is strength, dissent is death. But deep within her mind, the light she once carried flickered. Every choice she made echoed with memory. Anakin's touch, his voice, his betrayal. She told herself it was weakness. Yet at night, she still dreamed of Naboo and of who she used to be. Rumors spread a masked warrior gathering forces in the shadows. A survivor of the old empire. A ghost in black armor. Some whispered it was Vader. Others said it was vengeance itself. As Vader stood before the great window of the palace, stars glittered across the void, cold, silent, infinite. Her reflection stared back at her. Not the queen, not the senator, not the mother, but the Sith empress who had conquered destiny. And in that silence, a voice called to her from across the stars. Low, familiar, unbroken. Padmé, it's not over. Her eyes opened. The fire returned. The galaxy had bowed to her will, but destiny was coming to collect its debt.